60 AD Britain. Thunder rolls across the eastern horizon. On a windswept ridge, a lone queen stands, her hair a shock of flaming red, her eyes as cold as ice. Behind her an army waits, a vast sea of spears. She raises her blade to the storm and screams a vow that Rome will never, ever forget. This is the story of the revolt that almost broke an empire. The uprising that forged scattered tribes into a terrifying army and turned one woman into an immortal legend. But before the fires, before the slaughter, there was a crime Rome thought it could get away with. They were wrong. The Iceni tribe lived in an uneasy peace. They weren't free, but they weren't conquered. They were balanced on a knife's edge. Prasutagus, their king, played Rome's game of friendship and alliance, a lie wrapped in diplomacy. When he died, he tried to secure his kingdom's future by leaving it to two heirs, his young daughters and the Roman emperor. Dungdenya, but Rome doesn't share. Rome takes. Roman officers marched into Iceni lands, seizing everything. When Boudica, the widowed queen, protested, they answered with chains. They flogged her in public. Her daughters were violated. The tribe was broken in silence. But inside that silence, a spark of fury was growing. A queen's vow, whispered through clenched teeth, was about to ignite half of Britain. News of the outrage spread like wildfire. The Trinovantes rose first, then others. Dozens of tribes, forgetting old feuds, remembering shared wounds. They all had their reasons to hate Rome. Now they had a leader willing to act. Boudica climbed onto her war chariot, her daughters beside her, her people waiting. "We fight," she declared, her voice ringing out, "for freedom or for death." The army roared. The very ground shook. Their first target, Camulodunum, colony for retired Roman soldiers, was rich, smug, and fatally unprotected. The Romans believed the Grand Temple to the Emperor Claudius was enough to intimidate any rebels. They believed the tribes would bow again. They were wrong. The Britons stormed the colony. The few defenders fled to the temple, begging their god for help. But Boudica brought fire instead. For 2 days, the temple held. Then, the walls cracked, and an entire city vanished from the map. The shockwave hit Rome, but the next blow would be even worse. The Roman governor Suetonius Paulinus raced his legions across the province. But Boudica was faster. Far faster. Her next target was new, vulnerable, and undefended. Londinium, the future London. Paulinus reached the town first, but he saw the terrible truth. He could save the city, or he could save his army. He couldn't do both. He abandoned Londinium. The civilians left behind heard the thunder of chariots first, then the screams, then the flames. By nightfall, nothing remained. Verulamium fell next. The same pattern, the same terror, the same message. Britain would be free, or Britain would burn. Rome's grip was slipping. Paulinus had one final card to play. He chose the battlefield. A narrow gorge with no escape, no room for flanking, a perfect death funnel. Boudica marched toward it. Her army dwarfing Rome's, her people brought wagons filled with their families to witness the final victory, a celebration before the battle. She rode across the front lines, hair wild, eyes burning, promising revenge, and then they charged. A tidal wave of tens of thousands, a torrent of pure fury. They hit the Roman line and stopped, a wall of shields, a forest of spears. Javelins fell like iron rain. The Britons stalled, then buckled, then broke. Paulinus seized the moment, driving his legions forward, a steel wedge carving through chaos. The Britons tried to flee, but their own wagons blocked every escape. A victory cheer turned to panic, panic to chaos, chaos to slaughter. By sunset, the dream of a free Britannia had drowned in blood, and Boudica was gone. No body was ever found. No grave. Just echoes. Some say she took poison. Others, that she escaped. Some even say she lies buried somewhere beneath the streets of London today. Rome crushed the rebellion, but the cost was written in ash. Entire cities gone, tens of thousands dead. Rome rebuilt, stronger, harsher, but also wiser. Because one queen had proven something Rome rarely admitted. Fear cuts both ways. And though the empire survived, it could never, ever erase her name.